Hey friend, welcome. If we haven't met yet, I'm Jen. I'm a part-time online clothing reseller, which means I go to thrift stores, I buy used clothes, I list them on eBay and Poshmark and sell them hopefully for a profit. Today is Monday, May 26th, and I had a wire in my way. These are the items that sold over the last 2 days. There's 11 of them. My gross sales amount is $271.08, and 5 of these sold in less than a week. What? I'm excited about it. This is not one of the fast ones. This is an Adidas hat, and it's a bucket hat. And it sold for $10. The average sale price of an Adidas bucket hat is $12.92 with an 18% sell-through rate. This took a year to sell. It was actually kind of like exactly a year, which is really funny to me. But I took an offer for $10 because I've had it for a year. I only had it listed for $15. So I was hoping to get 12, but 10's gonna work. With shipping, they paid a total of $15.08, and I only paid $1 25 cents for it at a church sale last summer, and my profit is $8.43. Not too shabby for a little bucket hat that I pay a quarter for. I wish I hadn't had it for a year, but a lot of my items I have longer than probably other people would prefer, but I don't care. I'm gonna show you the pattern on that. This is a button-up, striped, yellow, blue, striped button-up. It is the brand LL Bean. This is just a nice quality brand, and their outdoor wear, I feel like, if you don't know LL Bean, I feel like it's super common. Probably know it, but the outer wear is what sells best for me. But sometimes little shirts like this or whatever is not a great sell-through rate or sales price either. So average sale price for an LL Bean button down, who's a button down long sleeve, is $15.79 with a 10% sell-through rate. So, you know, based on how much money you want to make, you might not want to buy an LL Bean button down, but I did. I bought it for $1 at my favorite thrift store. I had it listed for $20, and somebody offered me $16 on Poshmark. You know, I may have sent that offer out, the 20% off offer. I'm not really sure. It took 8 months to sell, and after fees, and I don't have shipping on Poshmark, shipping costs on Poshmark. So after fees and my cost of goods, my profit on that is $11.80. 8 months to sell, did I say that? So on Poshmark, I use priority mail. I like to use a Tyvek mailer, and I don't think the flaps seal, they have like a flap at the end and it doesn't seal very well, so I add a little sticker just to reinforce that. And I put everything in tissue paper and add a little baby sticker. This bra has a great sell-through rate. And this one still took a little while to sell, but this is a bra. It's very, I don't know, just kind of nondescript. It does look like it's probably pretty supportive. I've never tried this kind like personally, but it's called True Kind, like one word. The average sale price is only $12.22, but it has a 50% sell-through rate. So if you're unfamiliar with comps, 50% is literally means 50% of the items that are listed are sold. So if we're using very simple math, there's 100 listed in the last 90 days, 50 of them sold, 50 are still listed. That is a pretty phenomenal sell-through rate. Most of my items, well, I try to hit like 25 to 30%, but I don't all the time. Anyway, this still took 5 months to sell, so there's that. I did buy it at the bins, the Goodwill outlet where you pay by the pound, and my average cost of goods there is just about $2. It's actually a little less than that, but something like this, I just average my cost as $1 because it's so small. The bins is the Goodwill outlet where you pay by the pound, so, you know, something like this did not weigh very much at all. So after fees, this sold again on Poshmark. After fees and my cost of goods, my profit is $11.80. It sold for $16. I don't know if I said that. I had it listed for $20 on Poshmark and it sold for $16, which is great. It's more than. Loud truck. All right. Garage door's open because it's early and the birds are really going at it today. If you can hear them. I hope you can. All right, check these out. Aren't those fun? Little capri pant, a little kind of geometric floral print. If you know this brand, you probably know what brand this is. Take a guess. Can you take a guess? Did you guess Chico's? If you did, you win. I don't know what you win, but you'll win something. I remember when I bought these, I try not to buy Chico's very much anymore. But when I bought these, I was like, man, the women who wear Chico's are gonna love this. And sure enough, my mother-in-law was here a couple weeks ago and she was looking through all my Chico stuff because she loves Chico's. And she was like, oh, I love those pants. I want those pants, but they didn't fit her. So, bummer. Chico's floral capri pants have an average sale price of $14.18 with a 29% sell-through rate, which I think for Chico's is pretty high. But these sold for $13. That was, somebody sent me an offer and I was like, yeah, Chico's. Let's let those go for $13. That'll be just fine. Lately I just haven't had much success selling Chico's. Anyway, I bought these at the bins for $2. They sold on Poshmark for $13 after 6 months. My profit's $8.05. So maybe I shouldn't have gotten them, but I rescued them from the bins and now someone's gonna absolutely love these because they're fun. And like springy and summery. Speaking of which, like I have so much spring and summer kind of vibe type. I don't really say vibe. But you know, that kind of thing. All right, what do I have next? Very summery looking little top. It's super lightweight. And this is probably my favorite brand to resell. And it's J. Jill. Oh, it likes my head. Not. Okay, I give up. It's not focusing. Come on. There we go. J. Jill. Oh! Somebody, was it Bella? I think it was Bella. Shoot. What is her channel name? Hyperfocus Thrift, I think. I think she was talking about this a couple weeks ago. Like, is J. Jill the name of somebody? And sometimes I get a little squirrely, and when she was kind of asking those questions on her video, just talking like I do, I looked it up. And I forget the name of the guy, but whoever started it, I think in the 60s. Anyway, he named it after his wife and his daughter. So Jennifer, I think, was his daughter, and Jill was his wife. Oh, anyway, random thoughts with Jen this morning. J. Jill tropical print top has an average sale price of $17.51 with a 23% sell-through rate. Mine sold, I had it listed for, no, I had it listed for 25. I sent out 25, or oh my word, 20% offers, and it sold for $19.96. After shipping, they paid a total of $25.04. I've had this for 4 months. I found it in the bin, so cost of goods was $2. After fees, shipping, and my cost of goods, my profit is $15.16. I almost said $4.08. That was how much my shipping cost. All right, this was fun. These came from my friend, and it's like a little satin pair of paisley pajamas. The brand is Linea Donatella. No way I'm saying that correct. Probably not. Anyway, this was a surprise for me. The average sale price for this brand of pajama set was $19.54 with a 16% sell-through rate. And I forgot to look it up when I was doing the labels this morning, but if I remember correctly, if I just looked up a satin paisley pajama set, that sell-through rate was higher, like without a brand. But this took 20 days to sell, which I think is fantastic. I had it listed for $25.95, and someone used my 15% off coupon on eBay. So with shipping, they paid a total of $27.52. I have zero cost of goods, so after fees and shipping, my profit is $18.31. So thank you to my friend who doesn't watch my videos, but I'll thank her in person. Yeah, she's pretty great. She just, when she has stuff to drop off at Goodwill, she just drops it at my house instead, and I go through it and take what I want. And I actually did a video where I kind of went through and researched the things that she had given me. Actually, these have been sitting here since then. I still don't know what to do with them. I'm contemplating keeping them, and if I don't keep them, somebody in the comments of that video said they wanted them, and I might send them to her. It's Gretchen, the Restless Thrifter, if you don't know. I'm pretty sure it was her. Anyway, I just am trying to decide. Anyway. Random thoughts with Jen this morning. I don't know when you're watching, or is it morning? Is it night? 18:31. Thank you to my friend. My point is, tell your friends what to do. They want to support you. They'll give you stuff. These were cool. Little pair of boot cut jeans. Not a little pair. This is a 36 inseam. Crazy. And has this on the back. It does have like some wear around the pockets and stuff, which I noted, and the hems are quite worn on the bottom, which I think is pretty common for, you know, some different styles of brands, especially if you find like some vintage Y2K pants. Man, we dragged those suckers on the floor. All my pants were worn on the back. Anyway, these are Ariat. Oh my word, I don't think I said that. Ariat? How do you say that? Okay, focus, baby. There we go. Come on. Be nice. There it is. This is a Western wear brand. The average sale price for a boot cut pair of Ariat jeans is $28.37 with a 37% sell-through rate. When I listed these, I specifically went into the size and made sure I was pretty on par for, you know, like not super undercutting. I also don't want to be the highest. I also put into account like that my had wear on them, and the, you know, the hems were kind of messed up. So taking all that into account, I listed them for $40. Someone offered me $30, and I went ahead and accepted that because that was exactly where they should have sold, I think. So I only had them listed for 4 days. I bought them at one of my new favorite thrift store. I paid $1.50 for them. And yeah, 4 days, and my profit is $23.94. With shipping, they paid $38.68. This is, you know, a heavy pair of jeans that I have to put into a bigger package. All right, this is another freebie to me. And these sold very fast with a very low sell-through rate. So these are just a pair of like khaki tan pants, and they are US Navy uniform pants. Now there's a word right here. It says Crichton, I think is how you would say that. I did make sure I put that in the search, because as I was just trying to research these and make sure I was doing everything correctly, I just wanted to make sure. That was one of the things I saw, where there were different brands that maybe even had, you know, similar uniform pants for the US Navy. Anyway, the average sale price for US Navy pants, uniform pants, Crichton, is $29.28 with an 8% sell-through rate. And, oh, you're up, honey? You need to go back to sleep. It's too early. Can you go lay on the couch and I'll come snuggle you in a minute? Go. Go, go. You're better? You're feeling better?
My belly's still dizzy and my head's still dizzy.
Okay.
But I think I'm able to go to...
Okay. We can talk about that later. Why don't you go lay down, please, on the couch? All right? Okay. Okay. All right. We had a rough night, and it is an early morning, so it's going to be an interesting day. All right. These sold in 5 days. Crazy. So fast, especially considering the 8% sell-through rate. I had them listed for $30, and the person used my 15% off coupon, which I'm glad for. That's why it's there. And with shipping, they paid a total of $33.28. I got these from my sister. She sent me a picture a while ago and was like, or a bunch of stuff. And she was like, hey, do you want any of this? And I was like, yeah, maybe those pants. And I went to visit her Mother's Day weekend, kind of accidentally. And they ended up in my van, so that was fun. So I got them listed and they sold in 5 days. After fees, shipping, and no cost of goods, my profit is $21.52. So huge thank you to my sister. Extra 20 bucks from her. All right, this might look familiar because I sold like a couple days ago, a skirt very similar to this. So this is like a patchwork floral, and it has this little crochet, come on, focus, crochet detail here. It's a midi length. It's very sheer, and it has a lining, and it is vintage, and it's a size 2X. The one I sold a couple days ago was 3X, and I have one very similar that is a 1X. So there's all that. So I had this listed for $30, and somebody lowballed me on it, and we were kind of going back and forth, and they were at 18, and I was looking at it and I was like, I really want to get 20 out of them, but it's $2. And my husband came up behind me and he's like, nah, decline it. Which is kind of unusual. He's usually like, accept it. And I was like, well, here's the thing. The elastic is shot in it. And he goes, just accept it. So, because he's one that, he kind of laughs at me a little bit. Not in a mean way, but just like Jen, it's their inventory, not relationships. Like, you are trying to make money here, so make some money. So that's what I'm trying to do. Make some money. So vintage midi skirt patchwork floral has an average sale price of $20.39, but is 6% sell-through rate. So low. However, like I said, I just sold one very similar last week, and I think that one sold for almost 40. It sold on Depop, if I'm remembering correctly. It might not be. Anyway, accepted the $18 offer, and it sold in 4 days or 3 days. I have both written down. I don't know which one is accurate. I can't tell which one I wrote over. Anyway, I paid $1.50 for it at my new favorite thrift store, and my profit is $12.90. Yes. I was like, how is that? The math wasn't making sense in my head, but it's just because it's early. Okay. If you are new and you're like, what are you talking about? All this average sale price, sell-through rate. I do have a video linked in the description that talks all about it. $12.90. All right. Next one is also very summery and cute, and also bought at my new favorite thrift store. How fun. Isn't that fun? So this is a jacket, kind of blazer. It's just like one layer. It's not like structured glaze or anything, but it has all these rhinestones on the top. I don't know if you can see that, but if my camera would want to focus, that would be helpful there. I just think this print is so fun. This was, did I show you the tag? I'm sorry. This is Susan Graver. And this is kind of a newer brand for me that I've been kind of just playing with. And 2 of the 3 items that I have of Susan Graver has sold very quickly. This one sold in a day. And so, and this was a 3X, 2X, 3X something. And there was nothing else like exactly in this pattern listed, as, at least in that size. So the average sale price for Susan Graver jacket is $22.50 with a 14% sell-through rate. If I add plus size, it does bump up the sell-through rate to like 18%, which I mean isn't huge, but it's a little better than 14, right? I had this listed for $30, and someone offered me $22.50, and I thought that was pretty reasonable, so I went ahead and accepted that. That's weird, because mine sold for $22.50 and the average was $22.50. But I know there were a lot sold when I looked through all the solds in there, so it wasn't just mine. Anyway, this sold in a day. I bought it at my favorite thrift store for $1.80. And actually, I'm realizing that the last 2 things I said I spent $1.80 on, or $1.50 on there. It was actually $1.80, and I didn't fix that in my spreadsheet. But oh well. I need to do that. I did a haul video, and you might not have seen it yet. I'm not entirely sure. This is like a little bit of how much do you care about, how much do you want to know. I'm going to be gone all day today, and my video my videos never upload when I'm out of the house. And so I think I might, that one's already like uploaded and ready to go. So I think I might like just shuffle videos. Like I said, I don't know if you care about that, but anyway, that you might see that before, but I miscounted, and so I said my cost of goods was $1.50, and I started putting it in my spreadsheet that way in Vendu, and halfway through I was like, this isn't right, and I recounted, and I was like, oh, it's all $1.80 because I only had 10 items. Anyway, the whole point of that is I spent $1.80 on this jacket. So after fees, shipping, oh, in total with shipping, they paid $29.79. So after fees, shipping, and my cost of goods, my profit is $17.29. Whew. Made it. Kind of. Alrighty. Last item sold on Depop, and these, I had so many people send offers, so many likes, and I almost didn't buy them. I really didn't. And also, I didn't look up the sell-through rate information on them. Here we go. These are a pair of vintage Umbro shorts, nylon. They have this like geometric-y something. I think actually that's part of their branding, isn't it? Yeah, because it has the like little, whatever this diamondy shape is. Anyway, I had them listed for $40 and someone offered, well, I've been offering and people were offering $32 because that's 20%. They sold in 5 days and I spent 50 cents on them at my old favorite thrift store. So I did only charge $7 in shipping. If you've seen my videos before, I don't know what I'm doing with shipping Depop. I'm charging too much, but it wasn't enough for me to warrant, you know, paying up for priority, in my opinion. But I did make a little bit of money on the shipping is my whole point of that. So I charged $7 for shipping and it only cost $5.51. This is very, here we go. I don't know what I'm doing. I only paid 50 cents for them. They sold in 5 days. That's crazy. After fees, shipping, and my cost of goods, which was 50 cents, my profit is $32.14, which is incredible. Of a little tiny pair of shorts. Oh, there's an airplane. I apologize. I know sometimes it gets loud. I can't control the airplane, and I just don't want to put my garage door down. I'm sorry if it bothers you. And I say that from a place of, it would bother me probably to watch a video. So there's that. My total profit for the day is $181.33. I said the day, it's actually 2 days worth of sales, so that's good. I'm excited about it. All right. Question of the day. If you have to go swimming, would you rather swim in a pool, a lake or a pond, a river, or an ocean? Or something else that I haven't thought of? Let me know. Mine is definitely, I don't know. I don't really like to swim. Is that weird? Probably, I would say a pool for the lack of, you know, things touching me that I don't know what they are. But really, it's probably a natural body of water because I like to be out in nature. Could we put a pool in the middle of the woods? Then I'd go swimming in that, maybe. Or float on a float in it. I would not like to swim, like, you know, actually be in the water in a river. I guess it depends on the depth of the river. I think the currents of rivers scare me a little bit. I grew up going to the ocean. Every summer we would go for a week, and I loved that like bobbing feeling of being kind of out a little too far. That probably made my mom and dad really nervous, but it was just a really fun feeling of like, I don't know how to explain it, but just like kind of riding the waves and your body's just, you don't like really have any control over where you're going. That was a really cool feeling, especially when I remember like being 12 or, you know, 10 or 12 and having that feeling. Man, I can't believe my parents let me do that. All right, I gotta get out of here. Thank you so much for joining me. Make sure you like the video if you liked it. Subscribe if you haven't already. I appreciate you so much. I'll see you soon.